if we funded more education in these systems, then these men wouldn't be so focused on stuff like gang violence to get protection or money or
you have a great
other stuff like that, and then end up in prison and then end up with their child having a single mother.
Fair enough. So
sorry, I didn't.
No, it's great. So there's a lot of examples that there's some merit to your argument, but it's more about the quality of education than the amount of money we spend on it.
Yeah.
Such as, that's why I'm a big proponent of school choice and educational vouchers and opposing the teacher unions. But the core is this, is that the number one predictor for a kid of any skin color, black, white, Asian, Hispanic, is whether or not dad is around.
Right.
And
what's going on, guys? Today we're watching how Charlie Kirk is completely dismantling the argument from this guy about black culture. Let's go.
Right. So when segregation ended, right, black people, or when slavery ended, actually, black people were just forced wherever, right? So they had nowhere to go. And then there was laws put in place to put them into prison. And after...
Okay. It's okay. No. What's your name? Yeah. Guys, what's your name?
Jackson.
It takes a lot of courage to come up here.
Yeah. No.
Let's just take a deep breath. I'm not here to pick on you.
No.
And I appreciate it.
Together.
No, it's okay. I know this can be very intimidating getting a crowd like this. So just take a deep breath. Let me make your argument. I'm going to make your argument for you, and I'm going to tell you why I think it's wrong. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Is that fair?
Yeah. Sure.
Okay. So the argument that is being made that you want to make is that there's legacies of injustice.
Yes.
And that those legacies impact one generation after the other. And when those things get handed down, you have what is a system or a systemic issue that isn't just isolated in 2024. So the argument that you're making is that what happened in 1954 does impact 2024 of decade after decade after decade. Let me tell you my response to that. Of course, there is some truth to that. However, every culture, every person in this audience can point to issues that families or generations prior had that were able to overcome. So the question is, why is it that Black America is one of the only populations, that and Native American populations, that have not been able to overcome such evil, horrors, and injustices? Here's my perspective, and I want to hear what you have to say, is that the number one way to keep people out of poverty, lower the crime rate, and have a better society is whether or not you have a mom and a dad around. Would we agree that's an ideal? Yeah?
Yeah, I would say you have to have a good mom and a good dad around. That's probably very important. Not just any dad or any mom, somebody that is good at being a parent.
Cool. Yeah. And so what happened in 1964 is that 25% of Black youth were raised by a single mom. Today, it's nearly 75%, about 70%. So that means that 1 in 4 Black kids will have a father around. Only 1 in 4. That's the number one issue happening in the country, and it's not because of systemic racism. I'd like to hear what you have to say about that.
Okay, so I think I misjudged you at first. When you brought up the 1350 stat, I had just assumed that it was inherently eugenics based, kind of, So, and that's where mine came from. I think we are on the same page that we know what the problem is, and that's what I mean.
Thank you for saying that, because I think we actually have a lot more in common in this country than the media would ever believe.
No, definitely, right? And what my point was, I was trying to say is, I don't think.
Yeah, I agree. There's a lot of divide in the country between the left and the right, and we have to all unite to work to make the country great again.
I think that we're doing enough to help these Black communities catch up, whereas they're underfunded and they're not, and they're over-policed, and there's just these factors that are contributing to, like you said, these single-parent households.
Yeah, so we're not going to agree on this. This is where we'll disagree, and that's okay. I have more of a view of Thomas Sowell on this, where he believes it's far more about culture, values, and worldview than stuff and over-policing. I believe there's not enough police in Black neighborhoods. You're going to disagree with that. Let's not even get into it, okay? But I think we can ask a question, and I want your opinion. Why is it that the single motherhood rate in Black America went from 25% to 75% over 50 years, where America did become less racist?
What, why did it?
Yeah, so what caused Black America to go from one of the strongest nuclear family communities in the country to now the weakest by far?
I can't answer your question.
No, that's okay. No, that's great. And again, it's hard to get up and have these conversations. Here's my opinion. My opinion is that, yes, there was some social welfare that subsidized single motherhood, which means it's easier to get cash from the government if you say you are single than if you are married. I think we can agree that's stupid. That shouldn't happen, right? But I would love
That's very, very stupid. I don't know who in the government would think something like this.
your perspective on this. Do you think in black culture, getting married and staying with one woman for your entire life is elevated and celebrated?
No, not at all.
I think that's the problem.
I think the problem stems from a lack of education. I think these communities don't have. I don't think a lot of them have the proper education or learning from previous to realize what will lead them to a more successful future. I think that if we funded more education in these systems, then these men wouldn't be so focused on stuff like gang violence to get protection or money or
you have a
other
great
stuff like that, and then end up in prison and then end up with their child having a single mother.
Fair enough. So
sorry, I didn't argue.
no, it's great. So there's a lot of examples.
Yeah, honestly, I think there's a lot of education, free education available on the internet that you can access from your phone, so you don't necessarily need more funding, honestly.
That there's some merit to your argument, but it's more about the quality of education than the amount of money we spend on it.
Yeah.
Such as, that's why I'm a big proponent of school choice and educational vouchers and opposing the teacher unions. But the core is this, is that the number one predictor for a kid of any skin color, black, white, Asian, Hispanic, is whether or not dad is around.
Right.
And I look as an outsider, albeit, at current black culture, right? From the athletes to the rap music to the music, I don't see the nuclear family elevated, nor is it an internal black cultural expectation. Now, I will ask some of the white individuals here in this audience, okay? If you guys got pregnant and all of a sudden you didn't even know who the father was around, how would your parents react? Not great, right? Yes? Unfortunately, in black America, this is kind of accepted. Would you agree?
I can't say. I grew up around a lot of white people, so I can't say.
Okay. But it is a fact that it is accepted, right? So that's the problem. The problem is that it's a cultural norm that has then turned into the cycle of poverty. The cycle of poverty can break very quickly if fathers stayed with the women they impregnate.
And I think I can say the same, that it is better if the woman would stay with the father. I think feminism did some damage as well, and women nowadays, modern women, think that they can do everything on their own and that they don't need a man, and that's sad.
Most of these fathers aren't just leaving. A large majority of these fathers are ending up in prison. Like, this is
good point. Why do you go to prison?
Because you commit crimes. But the prison system has been targeted against minorities.
Again, we're not going to agree here,
right,
and that's okay.
Yeah.
There's actually under-enforcement of the laws when it comes where there's, for example, only half of murders in Chicago get solved.
Right, but are they all black people though?
Almost all of them, yeah. Like 80,
well,
80.
If they're not solved, how do we know that they're black people?
Well, because it's a black victim in a black neighborhood by a black gang. So it's like you can assume at a great approximation that in the west side of Chicago,
50% of the murders in Chicago that go unsolved are all black people.
Not all. No, I said 85%. But we don't know who the perp is. But again, if you have a black victim at 2 a.m. in a black neighborhood, it's reasonable to say that it was a black on black crime. 90% of murders after 2 a.m. in Chicago are black on black crimes. I'm from Chicago. Right. I happen to know it. Right. But like half of all murders in Chicago are unsolved, that means half of all murderers are walking free. So we have an under-enforcement of laws. We have the ladies here in this audience should know this. You know that there's over 600,000 rape kits in this country that have not even been opened or tested, which means that there are women who say that they've been raped and their kits are not even put in the system. There are probably hundreds of thousands of rapists that walk free in this country.
Yeah, no.
Wow, that's wild. Honestly, we need to do better.
Our system is
no. What I'm saying, though, that's an under-enforcement of laws, though.
Yeah, because our system is terrible.
No, I know, but you said we have an over-enforcement. I don't think we have enough people in jail.
You don't think we have enough people?
No, like I said, half of all murderers walk free. We don't even know who they are.
Okay, but
Yeah, a lot of criminals are actually getting released because they have no place for them, and it's sad.
Okay, and I sure, whatever, but I'm talking, I don't think that, I don't think that black people are as, more than 50% of exonerations from prison are black people. Like, a black person is more likely than any other race to be tried for a crime that they did not commit and then to be released from prison for a crime that they did not commit.
That's not totally true. Let's pretend that it is. It's because they're in front of the justice system more because of the high crime. But let's try to find some agreement.
I'm talking percentages of exonerations. Like they're
No, it's because they're in the system more, though. It's because you have more cases. But anyway, let's pretend that's true. Let's pretend the system's totally racist.
Actually, there's more white people in the system because white people make up like what, like
no, for sure.
So you were just incorrect there, right? Like you're doing to me.
But they don't commit as many crimes.
Okay, so let's be cordial. Let's be cordial.
You're not being, so let's calm down a little bit, okay?
You're not being.
Am I being sweet to this guy?
Okay. But
all right. Let me ask you one question in closing, though. If you could say to Black America, here is more money, more stuff, more housing, or more fathers, which one would you choose?
More funding. I don't think, because fathers.
Yeah, I'm sad to hear this. I think money does not solve everything, and he's probably too young to realize that.
I think that you need to solve the problem from the bottom. I don't think you can just plant a bunch of fathers in and they're going to stay there. Like you said, they're just going to, like in the culture, it's not part of the culture. So they would just leave.
No, it's a hypothetical, meaning if the fathers were to stay.
Were to stay?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, sure. If I just knew for 100% fact that they were going to stay.
No,
sure.
we have agreement. So during the BLM stuff 4 years ago, did we hear anything from the national BLM leaders or anybody about Black dads staying around with women they impregnate? Did anyone mention that?
No.
Why? They're actually, it's the fundamental issue. The fundamental issue is if you have a father around, less likely to commit crimes, more likely to graduate high school, more likely to get a job, less likely to be in poverty.
How do we get there? Like, this is what I'm like,
no,
how do we get there?
Well, the first of which is you must raise the standard of expectation, both internally and externally in the Black community, that we're not going to put up with men, because we're both men, fleeing the women that they impregnate. Yeah. That we will say to men that flee the women that they impregnate, you're a loser, we're not going to tolerate you, we're not going to be friends with you, that you're the scum of the earth, that if you impregnate a woman and you just run away from them.
Most definitely.
I agree. That's sad to see, honestly.
Do that right now.
I don't think all men do. I think this is very common. What's the word I'm looking? I think this is very common in just masculine culture in general, is that men won't do that too.
I actually think it's the opposite of masculine culture. I think it's not feminine. It's something else. No, just fleeing from the difficult.
Well, no, but I'm saying in male circles. I feel like that is something that males would praise, or at least around my age range. That's something that happens.
So then I think we need to demand better. Thank you for coming.
We need to demand better. I think Charlie Kirk is 100% right about this. I think he made a great argument. I like Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk is great. He brings up great argument when he talks to college students. I think he speaks out the truth. He speaks out a lot of truthful things. Honestly, he's great at debating. I can't wait to see Charlie Kirk again in colleges debating college students. Probably soon. I don't know. Let's hope. Anyway, I think his argument was great. I think it is God first, then family, then country. And if you put family, if you elevate the nuclear family, a father, a loving mother, and children, then you can solve a lot of difficult situations. To have successful children, you definitely, ideally need a father and a mother in the home. And I think Charlie Kirk is great to point that out. I think it is great from him. He has a lot of things to say about this, I think, and I think he's 100% right about this, that you need fathers that stay with their kids, and you need mothers that stays with their husband, basically. That's it. It's very difficult to raise children alone, whether you are a man or a woman. And if we stay together, and if we put the nuclear family first, if we put the future of the children first, then they have a much better chance of being successful in life and have more money, more education, and basically a better life. In the end, it's better if you have better families, to have a better community, and then a better country in the end. I'm all against leaving your women. I'm all against leaving your men. I think we should stay together as much as possible, at least for the future of the children. And it's sad to see so many fathers in Black culture living mother with their kids and not taking responsibility. As a man, you have to protect your women. You have to take responsibility for your own action and make sure women and children are provided for. That's your primary role as a man in society. And if you fail at this role, you are a failure. That's what I believe. Let me know what you think about this. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video with me today, and click right there to watch the next video, and I will see you there. Bye bye.